too exude pain. Your life is a patchwork of blackness with no time for joy. How do you cope with it?
I have a butler.
Hey, what's happening, Gothamites? I'm K-Wing, and this is my review of Justice League Dark. It'd be really awesome to see this video get 1,500 likes. Alrighty, so another new 52 DC animated film has released and graced us with his presence. And oh, this one is rated R. Though after The Killing Joke, or rather, Bat Sex, I look forward to seeing more R-rated Bat films and Justice League, just because gore and, you know, that stuff sells. Oh, and before I forget, this review will have a spoilery section, because of course I have things that I hated about this film, and, well, we're gonna keep spoilers to a minimum as best we can. So what is this movie about? Well, some crazy crap is going down on Earth where ordinary citizens are seeing demons, then committing horrific crimes. Some of these atrocities are pretty insane, like mowing down people in your cars, throwing babies off roofs, and, well, disturbing stuff like... I don't even know how to explain this. DC, you're sick! Anyway, the League thinks that magic might be the culprit, and Batman is like, supernatural, it's not real. Also, we see more members of the League have joined the party, like John Jones, Hawkman, and the new Green Lantern John Stewart, who appears again later in the film. Batman plays the role of jerky skeptic for this movie until his bedroom walls tell him to search out John Constantine. You know, that warlock played by Matt Ryan. Yes, the same dude from NBC's Constantine and the CW's Arrow. Anyway, John, how do I explain his character? Well, he's a grade A tool bag and has a mission of his own more or less in this film. He's looking for some magical relic to keep out of the hands of evil, even though John is no saint and not really a hero. He's your typical anti-hero who can use magic and likes to bully people. Also, he totally cheats at poker and punks Jason Blood, whom is also looking for this relic to free himself of his darker side. Elsewhere, Zatanna is putting on a show in Gotham, and Batman goes to say, hey, apparently the two have a history. Well, I mean, it's heavily implied anyway. Things seem to be going pretty well for the two, until Deadman ruins everything by possessing Batman, and now finally we have a plot. Kind of. So, like something out of The Wizard of Oz, Z, Batman, and Boston Brand, aka Deadman, don't worry, you'll get a quick version of his origin told by Zatanna. They travel to Constantine's place, you know, the House of Mystery. I know, it sounds like a caper out of Scooby-Doo or something, doesn't it? Inside the spooky house, after Zatanna and Constantine fight like cats and dogs, yeah, they used to date, can you tell? Batman says the League thinks that the occult might be involved, and maybe Constantine can help. What's funny is, after one tussle with a magical tornado attacking the Batmobile, Bruce is now a believer in the supernatural. So I guess meeting Shazam, Trigon, and discovering that Atlantis was real was not enough proof for the Dark Knight. It took a tornado with a face in order for Batman to become a believer. If you haven't guessed it or not, Justice League Dark really didn't need Batman's inclusion in this film. He feels so out of place and does nothing for the plot. DC totally shoehorned him in to sell this film, and that's it. The trailer for the movie talks about how Batman leads the team. Nope, he doesn't do that. Batman's point of view challenges the supernatural element. No, that doesn't happen either. Batman issues wise words to motivate his team. Seriously, all he does is nothing but grunt. I will say this though, Batman has some amazing one-liners in this movie, which are totally out of character, but I guess they worked for this movie.
Criminally insane don't need magic as an excuse. I recommend spending more time on the streets instead of flying over them. I hope those elephants survived. You don't want Pete on your back.
This one has cheated us many times. It is vexing.
Boo.
So after hearing how the world is under attack by dark magic, Constantine reluctantly agrees to lead the team in search of the darkness plaguing humanity, and that more or less is the movie. I'm lying, the movie more or less becomes the Constantine and Zatanna show, as the magical users bicker like an old married couple, solving clues and trying to get to the bottom of this magical mystery where Batman just occasionally grunts. However, fans of Hellblazer are in for a treat, and you'll meet various characters from the comics, like Richie Simpson, Black Orchid, and Swamp Thing. Etrigan, Deadman, and Zatanna also round out the rest of the Justice League Dark members from their respective comics. Z is the powerhouse of the team, who's dealing with a lot of emotional issues in this film, because, you know, she used to date Constantine, there you go. While Deadman provides the dark comedy relief, and when I mean dark, it's pretty grim. The only reason he can get away with it is because, well, he's not alive anymore. Then, of course, we have Etrigan, who is not really utilized well in this film at all. As a fan of the character and his previous animated appearances, DC Animated has more than dropped the ball. They've thrown it into the deepest, darkest ocean. So as you know, Jason Blood and his, other side are two beings fused together Dragon Ball Z style by Merlin the Wizard back during Camelot times. Because of this, Jason has been given long life and watches over humanity fighting off the supernatural. At least, that's what he's supposed to do! The following rant contains spoilers for the film on key characters. Skip to this time code. You've been warned, I'm not saying it again. So, Justice League Dark ruined both Etrigan and Swamp Thing in one movie! And these characters only appear briefly! How was that even possible, DC? Jason Blood is portrayed as a weak, spineless thief, a shell of his former knightly self, who wants nothing to do with Etrigan. Facepalm. He doesn't watch over humanity, keeping magic out of the hands of the normie mortals. Nope! He uses his vast wealth and long life to find a cure for his condition of being stabbed through the chest and fused with a demon, whom he doesn't get along with. It's like a bad sitcom about roommates that hate one another. Etrigan doesn't like Blood, Blood doesn't like Etrigan. It just... ugh. Also, he doesn't know Batman at all in this movie, which will really irritate Bruce Timm and pre-52 DC comic fans. Because Batman, you know, getting involved with the supernatural was always kind of cool to see this normal human dressed as a bat interacting with, you know, magical users and knowing about them. This Batman is stupid and just knows things about basic facts. It's just so groan-worthy. Anyway, once Etrigan finally gets some time to develop his character, he pulls an El Diablo to save his friends, and then Etrigan goes back to hell. The only thing that they got right about his character in this movie was the fact that the demon is a master rhymer.
Once more, with words of metered rhyme, comes Etrigan the Slayer, just in time.
Really, DC? That's the only thing that you're gonna do correctly? Still, Swamp Thing got the shortest end of the stick in this movie. His introduction as the Champion of the Green was very cool, and I loved his interaction with Constantine. He despises the guy, and other than transporting the team to face some other bad guy in the movie, an evil wizard, Alec Holland wants nothing to do with saving the world because it has nothing to do with protecting the Green. So anyway, Swamp Thing being in the movie I loved until the final chapter, when John summons Swamp Thing desperately to fight the big bad, and then no one shows any compassion when Alec Holland dies. It's like John just used Swamp Thing to buy him some time so he could conjure up a spell and take care of the baddie himself. So basically, a great DC hero gets killed off for nothing, and no one says anything. Look, DC, I can forgive you for even adding a monster made of human feces as a monster that characters have to fight in this film. But the fact that you have Batman in it when he did nothing to further the plot, he had a difficult time fighting all the magical users. At the very end of the film, you're gonna make him the one who can deliver the final blow against a magical being who he was powerless against the entire movie? I'm sorry, but No! Even as a Batman fan, this just bugs me. I mean, a soul batarang into this magical crystal? And then that's it? Really? Lastly, my final issue with this movie is how it shows the magical users as almost invincible and super OP. Only Zatanna is shown to have some type of weakness, and that's the one where you cover her mouth and she can't speak her backward spells, which makes her vulnerable to attack from pretty much anybody, and sometimes kind of like the weakest link of the team. John, on the other hand, looks like he can handle just about anything that happens to him. In fact, the viewer watching this film, you have no real danger for any of the magical users, because everybody except for two survive pretty much anything that's thrown at them. All they have to do is conjure up the right spell, and boom, the fight is done. That is so boring. All in all, the film, it's mediocre at best. It's not bad, it's not good. Some fans of Justice League Dark might like it, but then again, some B-Team fans have already expressed utter outrage over the poor use of some of the characters I mentioned in my spoilery section. Like the Throne of Atlantis, Dark features some really great action sequences, but the plot can be a bit confusing. Blink and you'll be utterly lost. DC is also desperately trying to hit that mature audience, and they do that by not using great storylines. Nope, vast amounts of blood, gore, violence, and tons of cursing is used in this movie to appeal to today's viewers, and that's just sad. When all you really need to do, DC, is provide a great narrative for your characters to interact with, like Bruce Timm and Paul Dini did in the 90s, and of course, Justice League. To be honest, this movie is more or less the same song and dance that we can expect from DC animated films of late. It's not terrible, it's not great, but I wasn't entertained at all. In fact, I was bored. The movie has a few funny moments, mostly that come from Batman, and some great action scenes, but none of this makes up for a very lame plot. Still, it's better than The Killing Joke. That's something, right? So if you like this kind of dribble, cool. I'm not gonna, go against your opinion. Me, I'm terrified about the Judas Contract getting an adaptation later this year. They're probably gonna ruin yet another classic DC story arc, and that makes me sad. Here's hoping DC will start doing some rebirth storylines soon, because there's a reason why the New 52 failed. This movie, Shadow, exactly, is another clear example. Justice League Dark gets a 5 out of 10. Agree or disagree with this video? Let me know in the comments section below. Just be civil to one another, and thanks for watching this review. Again, make sure you like this video and share it with your friends, because it really does help this video get seen. Until we meet again, Gothamites, God bless, and happy viewing. Thanks for watching this review. Peace.